Hey guys, how are you? Herb Palmer Jr., Lobster Lab Media, Pay Attention Films, author of The Lobster and the Chicken. They're actually redoing my book, The Lobster and Chicken, so a new publisher is picking it up, which is pretty exciting. New publisher's picking it up, so we're going to read a couple chapters to you. This is actually the second read, so it's going to start with the third chapter, which is called Army Ants. So as they walked over the next hill, they saw what looked like a battle, smoke rising over the ridge. Because of the hill they were on, they watched in disbelief. 7 armored divisions of red army ants were fighting 8 columns of black army ants. Tanks and armored personnel carriers lined the valley as far as they could see. Bombs and explosions sent red and black army ants in all directions. Burned out tanks and destroyed equipment lay about the hillside and valley. The battle raged on all day and all night. The bombs grew silent, and the lobster and chicken walked in silence down the hill as the full moon illuminated the carnage. This is the picture of the battle of the red army ants and the black army ants. Really cool artwork, illustrated artwork by Danny. I'm a stick figure artist, so he took my ideas and he made some amazing artwork out of it. So as they reached the road leading out of the valley, what they heard made them stop and think. 2 crashed fighter planes, smoking and on fire. A red and black army pilot, both mortally wounded, lay in the bomb crater talking. When they stopped fighting and started talking, they figured out that they were really not any different. They had kids about the same age, and they all loved playing baseball. If they had met at the Little League baseball field with their sons, they may have even been friends. So the question is, why? Why have we been fighting for thousands of years? They both had the same answer, because that's what we've always done. By needing to be right, we continue doing what we've always done. If we can never be wrong, we cannot grow and morph into our true selves. The lobster and chicken watched in amazement as they both died. Their souls left their body. As they ascended into heaven, there was only one heaven. The difference between the red army heaven and the black army heaven was an illusion. If they are the same, then why do we kill each other? All for the sake of profit, to feed a destructive machine of fear. The purveyors of death become wealthy as our youth die. When people have peace within their own hearts, no one or nothing can force them to take a life. Indeed, the truth shall set you free. War, too, is a choice. As the chicken and lobster walked in silence, the chicken was first to speak. The conversation from the pilots reminds me of a story when I was young. We had meatloaf a lot. I asked my mother why she cut off the meatloaf ends. She thought for a moment and said, "I don't know, that's what we've always done. Let's go ask Grandma." So Grandma said the reason that they cut off the ends was because they don't fit in the pan. How many times do we make the same choices over and over and never ask why? The path they were on became more rigid and the train harder to get through. Chapter 4. The Writing on the Wall. They had reached the cave of the ancient lobsters. As they approached the cave, the lobster knew he must go in alone. Alone with his thoughts, he moved deeper into the cave. He thought about when he was a little lobster. His father told him not to get fooled by the bait and to get stuck in the lobster trap. Those thoughts are always in his head. Don't get trapped, don't get trapped, stay away. Without realizing it, those thoughts were the first stones in his castle. The castle was built thought by thought, stone by stone. One day he realized that the walls were so high he could not get out. Only now in silence he realized he could not get out either. Walls kept the enemy out, but they trapped those inside brick by brick and stone by stone. By trying to be safe, he had built his own giant lobster trap and didn't know it. He remembered all the times he walked by himself and didn't get close with others because they might hurt him or trap him. This is the picture of the ancient lobster petroglyphs. So kind of a cross between Native American writings and Egyptian petroglyphs on the wall. Pretty cool. Again, great artwork. As he reached the bottom of the cave, he saw the ancient Lobsterian petroglyphs. These wise old ones knew the game. They started life on planet on the planet long ago and left messages for those who look for wisdom and truth. 26,000 years ago, they had left messages coded in stone and standing rock for when the time would be right, and that time is now for all who remember. There will be an awakening, a quickening of spirit, and a gathering of all those who have been asleep. They will remember who they are, why they're here at this time in this place, and they will complete their mission. When enough have awakened, the vibratory door will open, and all will remember and awaken. Many have returned for the final chapter. From a place deep within your soul, from a long list of lifetimes learned, the still small voice grows louder. If you felt a chill roll up your arms to remind you, welcome back, my friends. We have work to do. The reason it has taken so long to remember is your planet had been hijacked, so to speak. Other life forms with other intentions had arrived after the ancient ones left. Their idea for the planet was a slave race and a prison planet. They controlled through a thought range from a different dimension. Because the inhabitants couldn't hear or see the intruders, they didn't know what had happened. The leaders had been pulled in through their emotions of fear, greed, anger, and guilt. Once this had happened, the controllers could do whatever they wanted with no one to challenge them. Until now. Back at the entrance to the cave, the chicken had been as patient as she could be. She waited and waited. Finally, she started talking to herself. Where is he? How could it take this long? What's he doing in there? He must be somewhere else. He still had not returned when she started talking to the cave entrance. Where are you? What's going on down there? Are you with another chicken? Finally, about ready to pull out her feather, she called her girlfriend. I met this great new lobster, but now I can't reach him. He's gone into this cave, and I don't know what he's thinking. He won't talk to me. It's like he's not even here. Reassuredly, her friend replied, You know how lobsters are. He'll get back to you. It's just a phase. They all do that. I know, this one seems different. I thought he really understood me. After 40 hours, the chicken had enough. How long could she wait? No one but an inconsiderate shellfish would do this to her. Finally, as she made up her mind to leave, he returned. Why are you fixing your sneakers? The lobster asked. The chicken replied, I'm out of here. Why are you leaving? Asked the lobster. You don't care about me. You left me alone for 40 hours, said the chicken. I had something to figure out, and it's a long story. Can't we talk about it? I thought we just did. As they continued down the road, 10 taxis with their baggage followed them. The lobster looked back at the cave entrance. A spaceship with two ancient lobsters beamed up the taxi with their baggage. That's the taxi getting beamed up. This time on the path, the chicken was far ahead. She was a little mad and a little sad. She didn't really want to talk about it. The lobster's legs carried him as fast as he could. There's no match for the chicken in red high-top sneakers. She had become an expert at running away. Finally, somehow this time was different, and she could not bring herself to leave him in the dust. Somehow they had a message for each other. There was a reason their paths had crossed, and this time it was going to be different. They both began to realize that if they understood themselves, they would understand each other better. She decided to give the lobster a chance. There must be a reason his castle was on her path. After all, things happen for a reason. So she walked a little slower, and the lobster caught up. So that's a little bit more about the book. The second couple of chapters. Again, it's we're working on it. It should be out in the next couple of weeks, probably, as soon as I get the editing completed, which is my least favorite thing to do. So again, please subscribe to us on our channel at Lobster Lab Media. Like the content, that way you'll get notification and we'll be able to continue to push content out. So thanks you guys, have a great day, and a great crazy 2020. Alright, see you soon.